All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the channel, Shelly's Millions. It is the California EDD Unemployment Questions and Answer live for Sunday. This will be one of the last few that actually covers unemployment topics. I will still go live every Sunday. Let me go ahead and jump into your comments. I don't have any questions from channel members this morning, so straight to you guys. All right, Brian says, bi-weekly certification schedule means I certify next weekend. So after that, do I certify for the 1 week ending September 4th on Sunday the 5th, or wait for 2 weeks to certify on the 11th? I think it's actually the 12th for the week ending the 11th. And we're not sure yet. But even if you don't certify until the 12th, you will still get paid for the week ending September 4th when you certify. What I expect to happen, and I have been wrong on things like this in the past, I expect you will certify on the 12th. And I expect that 1 week will say paid, and that week will be the week ending September 4th, and that week will include the $300 extra boost. I expect the second week to say NA. Some of you will qualify for that one extra week of Fed Ed. So to qualify for that one extra week of Fed Ed, you would need to have never received Fed Ed payments on your claim type before, and you would need to meet the earnings requirements. So you would have to go back to your original award letter, and it's either 1.5 times total earnings, as in your highest quarter, or more than 40 times your weekly benefit amount in the entire period that they use to calculate your earnings. So some people will qualify for that. But what I even expect to happen for that is still that first week will say paid and that the second week will say NA, because it's going to need to roll you over onto the 1 week of Fed Ed. And it's the EDD. Half the time we have to call and demand to be given what we're owed. So I expect that second week's going to say NA, and that you might actually have to call even if you're someone that qualifies for the extra week of Fed Ed. Linda says, so I was checking if I was eligible for Fed Ed using a formula provided by Jenny. I am qualified for it. Will they still look at the same base period? We still get 1 week of Fed Ed to 9/11. Yes, that should be correct. But sometimes as they switched us between extensions, you also need to make sure that you haven't ever received Fed Ed on your claim before. The most common time period to get it was kind of in between when they were rolling people over from regular UI to PEUC extensions, or from one PEUC extension to the next. So for a lot of people, that was either back in September, or it was kind of in March while the EDD was programming the next extensions into their computer system. So make sure to check. And the only way that I know how to check, unless you know for sure if you did or didn't get payments under Fed Ed, is by checking each and every one of your transactions. My lipstick's running, probably from my coffee cup. Vanessa says, didn't the Labor Department decide that states may choose to extend PEUC and PUA with leftover money? If California did that, then I assume we get a few more weeks, but no boost. Yes, and we do not know yet if California has extra funds to extend PUA and PEUC. It specifically said it would not include the extra $300 a week boost. And that's only if those funds are left over and if they decide to use those funds to extend unemployment benefits. And we have no idea how much money may or may not be left. We don't know if that's how they would choose to use it. And we also don't know, even if they did have extra money and if they decided to use it for unemployment benefits, we have no idea how many weeks of extended benefits that would actually support. So we're waiting to find out that information. Joel, oops, lost my plate. Oh no, there we go. Joel, with unemployment ending, it's going to be a huge cutoff. The EDD helped me to pay bills. I may lose my car now as I don't have full-time work yet. What should I do? Sell it, refinance it? I'm scared. Yes, I would try and refinance it first. So credit unions are going to be your best bet for that. Try Navy Federal Credit Union and try First Entertainment Credit Union. Let them know that you are shopping around different financing rates from different credit unions, see if they can give you the best rate and kind of go from there. I know some car payment places were putting payments on hold for up to 3 months. Of course, it still accrues interest that you would then owe on the total balance, but that may be an option for you. Also, please check out Housing is Key for rental assistance, and please check out like the utility programs and see if there's help that you can get that way with some of your bills. And please, please, if you have not already done it, sign up for CalFresh, SNAP, food stamps to make sure that you get help with that. And don't be ashamed if you need to use a food bank. Okay, So Not Down says, just noticed California added supplemental unemployment to the list on did you receive any of the following? Certification page. What's up with that? That's always been there. That is not the $300 boost. So I think maybe you're just noticing it. I think that's always been there. I'm going to do Siegel's and then I'll do the donation question. Siegel says, how does the EDD payments affect Medi-Cal, the insurance for low-wage workers? Won't all the $300 boost in unemployment put them above the 17.5K a year threshold and then kick them off that insurance? I don't want to misquote on that, so I need to do more research on that. I know for programs like CalFresh and SNAP, the extra $300 a week boost was not counting in the income. So hopefully it works the same way for Medi-Cal, but I need to look that up. Harity says, are we okay to get it if we get hired to collect unemployment for how long? So that would depend on your weekly benefit amount, whether you still qualify for unemployment benefits. If it's a traditional W-2 job, you do need to report the earnings and wages the week you worked, even if you haven't been paid yet. So in California, they're supposed to pay you for training, for filling out your paperwork, for all of that. So even if you haven't actually started work, but you've done some training, you do need to report that to the EDD. The EDD does not count the first 25% of what you make. We can do the math on that real quick because you gave me a donation. Well, not because you gave me a donation. Okay. So let's say your weekly benefit amount, let's go with $300. I use a different example every time. Oh my goodness. So 300 is what you, this is your weekly benefit amount. You're going to multiply that by 1.33. I feel like I should know this because I do think I've used 300 as an example before, times 1.33. That equals $399. You're going to need $1 left over, so minus $1, that equals $398. So if your weekly benefit amount was $300, you could make $398. You would get $1 from unemployment benefits plus the $300 boost. So you'd get $301 total from unemployment plus your $399 from your job. So whatever your weekly benefit amount is, multiply that by 1.33, subtract $1, and that's the most that you can make and still receive some unemployment benefits even after you've returned to work. And thank you for the donation. I hope that was your question. Yeah, let me know. Okay. Toya says, good morning. Diane says, hello. Hi, Pamela. Tony says, I got paid 11 weeks due to reaching out to my local state assembly member. They got me paid within a day. That is amazing. That's really fast. I'm so glad that worked for you, you guys. And I do want to say, if you still have pending unemployment payments that they have not paid you after September 4th, as long as you qualify, you will eventually get those payments, even if it's after September 4th. So even though the programs are ending, if you still have payments that are stuck in pending, once they get that all cleared up, you should still receive those benefits. And an assembly member is a great way to get help with that. I'm really just calling them saints and superheroes because of how amazing they've been. And I have that linked in the description if you guys need to find your assembly member. Of course, calling is an option, and I have the claimer link in the description as well. Spencer says I lost my place. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is just thanking me. You're very welcome. Michael says, do I have anything about EBT? My parents have it, but do I get it if I apply? We live in the same household. Again, I will be making a video about that, but offhand, I don't know. I do think that they count the entire household income, so that might be why you don't qualify. And then sometimes like a senior might qualify, whereas someone younger might not. So there's different criteria. When in doubt, though, apply, and they will let you know. Sean says, will states extend unemployment? Now there's an option open to use money given from an earlier date. We don't know yet. We don't know if California has any money left over to use to extend unemployment benefits. And we don't know even if they do, that money could be allocated to different programs already. It could be earmarked to be used for something else. So we don't know even if they have unused funds, if they would use them to extend PUA and PEUC. And even if they do, it wouldn't include the extra $300 weekly boost. So I'm getting a lot of people saying that without that boost, it really doesn't matter. It's not really helpful. It's not enough to get by. So, and I kind of think that this is a way for the president to just deflect, to make it look like he's saying, oh yeah, it's up to the states. And really maybe he knows, we know 26 states don't have tried to end the programs early, so they're certainly not going to use any unused funds for people on unemployment. And we don't know, and I don't know, maybe the president does know, but I don't know if he knows our individual budgets and how much money each state has left out of the funds they were given. So I kind of think that was just for show, like a lot of politics is. I think that might have been to take some of the heat off of him for some other things he's recently done to try and make it look like he's a good guy. That's my opinion. I don't know. Yeah. Alex says, what's my assembly member? Where do I call? Been pending 4 weeks for regular unemployment. The link is in the description. It's like findyourrep.californialegislature.gov or something like that, but the link is in the description. Bad Grandpa says, looks like I won't be getting MEUC even though I made $39,000 gross. I took a loss on my net income driving for Lyft with a Chevy Tahoe. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I used to drive for Uber, and you do get to write off like your mileage and things like that, or your gas expenses, or like actual expenses. You don't get to write off both mileage and gas, but I bet you chose to do gas because in a Chevy Tahoe, it probably used a lot of gas, causing you not to have $5,000 net self-employment income. I'm sorry about that. Sean says, so now since a lot of programs ending, what new content will I do on my videos? I really am passionate about finance. My mom said I exaggerated the other day, but I have watched her struggle my whole life. I grew up on welfare. I grew up using food stamps, and I love my mom dearly, and she's happy, and she does manage her finances pretty well with what she has. But I exaggerated, she says, when I said that she couldn't afford $10 to patch a tire, but every little extra expense, it is like a juggle, and definitely like a full set of tires would be a struggle for her. And I don't want that. I want to be financially secure. I want to be able to retire one day, and I'm 44, but I don't think it's too late. I also bought my house like just by myself. I grew up poor. My mom still lives in a trailer. I saved all that money on my little movie theater salary. I worked my way up from there. Now I'm exploring multiple streams of income like YouTube and work. Anyway, I love finance and I don't want to see people struggle. So I would like to try and help inspire people so that they don't have to struggle in retirement and things like that. Okay, Maria says, thank you. You guys are so welcome. I've really enjoyed, I haven't enjoyed all the struggles the EDD has put us through, but I've really enjoyed getting to know you, getting to know your stories, meeting a few of you, and I'm happy that I've been able to be here for you. Rose says, thanks. Why during the surge would they pull out federally funded $300 boost? This is really crazy. So part of it is the language and the bills themselves that had to stop. I also tend to think that even states that might have some extra funds might not have enough to fund PUA, PEUC, and the extra $300 boost. And there's a fair number of states that have said that it's a disincentive for people to return to work. And so he's getting pressure from those states to end things early, saying it was too much. I mean, those states weren't really on board with extending unemployment benefits at all when they talked about the last stimulus package. So, he's got to try and balance all the needs of all the people, and it is different for all the states. I, I think it's probably time. I don't know. I don't know. So not down saying you just probably never noticed before. Michael says, what's all this about having to proof and show proof of whatever for the year before all this started, even if you don't need UI and get work and stuff? Sorry, that's a great question. So people on PUA got notices that they needed to show proof of employment or proof of planned employment. So people who are receiving PUA unemployment benefits, it was possible for them to get benefits without ever having done any work. The example I like to use is a college student. Let's say you spent the last 4 years in college. You graduated from college in January. You took some time off, January to February. You went to Peru and you had a month-long vacation, a gap year, or whatever. And you came back February 1st, you got a job offer. You were supposed to start March 1st. But because of the pandemic, the place that you were supposed to start working rescinded the job offer. So this has been in the guidance from the Department of Labor the whole time. Many other states implemented it a lot faster than the EDD did. But basically now you're going to either need to show that you were self-employed, that you had a business plan to start a self-employment business, a business of your own, or an offer letter. We don't know yet if an offer letter will be acceptable from the EDD, but in other states, they have accepted offer letters on company letterhead or a signed affidavit stating from someone else that you had a legitimate offer to start to work. So that's always been something that was coming. I think the timing of asking for it right before benefits expire is really terrible. If for some reason you're not able to supply any of those documents, the EDD could send you an overpayment letter, and they could say that you were not eligible to receive any money that they gave you from December 27th till whenever you've been collecting. If they sent you an overpayment notice, then you would need to request an overpayment waiver. And from there, it would kind of be up to them whether they decided that one, you collected benefits through no fault of your own, and two, if it would create a financial hardship to repay any overpayment. So yeah, they are asking for that now, which I don't think is great timing. I wanted to say something else about that, but I don't remember what it was. So yeah, so that's what's going on with the proof of employment. And that is different than proof of income. What I don't know yet is if people who already provided proof of income, if they are also going to need to send those same documents in again to get, so that they're all in the clear. It would seem that if you already provided income documents that you wouldn't need to do it again, but we'll see. It's the EDD. So if you have something like a Schedule C, that will definitely be an acceptable document for proof of employment. Cindy says, call the car finance company. You have to ask them to do forbearance on your late payments by adding your late payments to the end of your loan payments, which takes the loan payments off. Yeah, that's a good option. I would try and refinance first. It's going to be harder to get refinanced if they see that you're in forbearance. So maybe get a better rate and then ask for the forbearance. Okay, Malagu says, do you think the states will prolong weekly benefits without the $300 boost? 26 states definitely will not be doing it because they wanted to end the programs early. With California, it really depends on if we have the funds left or not. And even then, if we have funds left and if they decide to use them, how long would that extend the programs for? And they haven't mentioned anything about it yet. And I would have to say that I'm not personally taking that as a good sign. For right now, I would still plan on everything ending September 4th. Rose says most people only have unemployment income. Once it's cut, how can we survive? Biden is throwing us all to the wolves. Well, this isn't necessarily Biden. This is what Congress, all of the elected officials approved on and decided, in, was it December or was it March, when they passed the last, stimulus package. So this is what they were able to agree on. And yeah, I think it's terrible timing. Mike says, is California going to participate in giving unemployed people unemployment since California's unemployment rate is high, part of the rescue plan? It's going to depend on if we have funds left over. And I haven't been able to find out that information. I have been able to find out some information, but it's not enough to know. And they haven't mentioned anything about it. It seems to me that the time to come out would have been like the day after that was announced. Like the governors that were planning on doing it should have come out like right away and said, oh, yes, we're going to do that. Especially for Gavin Newsom, since he's facing the recall election. Hi, Will. You're taking a commission-based job. Do you think I can get partly unemployed because I'm not certain if I'll make any sales? It depends on what program you're on. Most of the programs are ending September 4th. So through September 4th, yeah, you would just put, your commissions. And it's going to depend on if they have you as a 1099 worker or a W-2 worker. If you're a 1099 worker, you would report that in the week that you were paid. I'm just going to call you FC. How long does it take for EDD to get back to me about my PUA backdate request? It's been 6 days. Will calling them or an assembly member expedite that process? Reaching out to your assembly member might help expedite that process, but it can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months. So I would wait till it's been at least 2 weeks, and then I would reach out to your assembly member. I think it's a little bit too fast right now. Guys, I lost my place, so I'll take a sip of coffee, and please like the video while I take this drink of coffee. Hello, Reyes family. I'm gonna, when I lose my place, sometimes I stop at a few comments as well. Oh dear, I'm way behind. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Diane says, I've heard if you're going to school, you can get unemployment, not pandemic EDD, but regular EDD. Is this true? There's like a training program. And guys, let me write that on my little board. so that I remember to look into that. I am not sure, I'm not sure, but I will look into that. Okay. SL says, hey, Golden One says, my question is, I start a job this Tuesday. Can I still certify for the 2 weeks if I work but didn't get paid? So in your situation, you can certify, but you need to report the hours and how much you're going to get paid when you certify. Even though you haven't been paid, you need to report that to the EDD. SL says they still shouldn't stop anything. We're still in a pandemic. I agree, but they are. Jennifer says, can I still be paid after September 4th? I need to certify September 5th. Yes, I just made a video on that yesterday. When you certify for the week ending September 4th is kind of irrelevant. It just needs to be done in a timely fashion. But I want to say you have almost 4 weeks to log back on and certify. After about 4 weeks, you would have the reopen claim button. So some people probably will not even certify until September 12th for the week ending September 4th. And yes, whenever you certify for that week, that's when you'll be paid. Michael says, and why would one have to answer to them like that? I mean, they now basically are telling us that we now have to show them documents and stuff for what? To be eligible for PUA, that was always a requirement. It was always supposed to be a requirement. Jennifer says, what is rental assistance? So guys, please go to housingiskey.com. I actually just phone interviewed someone. I'm trying to get a Zoom interview with them because I think that'll be more interesting. When I played around on the housingiskey.com website, I don't rent, but I'm just trying to investigate it for you guys. So I put that I rented and I put that I was not behind on my rent. So it actually told me I was not eligible. But when I talked to the gentleman on the phone and I said, is this only for people who are behind on their rent, or is it for people that are just struggling and they are going to be having trouble paying their rent? And what he said, because it can pay 100% of your back rent if you are behind on your rent, but it also pays up to 3 months at a time in future rent. So there's a number that you can call. I recommend calling the number. It's on the Housing is Key website page and having them help you with it if you think you're going to be struggling with future rent, because he did say that there was a path to get help with future rent, even if you're not currently behind. But on the website, it does not indicate that. Michael says, I'm doing good. Sugar Sprinkles says only one EBT per household. Oh, okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Sugar. I appreciate that. Linda says no $300 boost, and that's not even enough to live on. The weekly benefit amount alone isn't enough. Might as well just go back to work. A lot of people feel the same way. A lot of people really need that extra. That's $1,200 a month. That's a lot. Rescinded says, are we only eligible for 26 weeks of regular unemployment in California? Yes, with something that Bad Grandpa pointed out for me. If you're also working part-time while you're collecting unemployment benefits, the weekly benefit amount actually might last slightly past 26 weeks. Mimi says, what happened to the California stimulus? So the first Golden State stimulus checks should have gone out by now. The second Golden State stimulus checks are going out sometime in September. Heidi says, I got a full-time. We'll start at the end of the month. So happy now. It's my first time that you're in it. First time I was on unemployment, I think, because of COVID. Yeah, that's the first time for a lot of us doing this. Raisin in the Sun says, would we have to file new claims after September? So here's the thing. People on PUA unemployment claims are generally on a PUA unemployment claim because you wouldn't qualify for traditional unemployment benefits. And an awful lot of us, we've already reached the end of our original benefit year and have already had to file a new claim. And if you didn't qualify for a new claim back in March, unless you've done or whenever your benefit year ended, if you didn't qualify then, unless you've started working at a W-2 job and you've had some more wages to report, it's unlikely that you would qualify for a new claim now. Of course, you can try and file a new claim, but unless your situation has changed in terms of qualifying, then you might not qualify for a new claim. And those people who've reached the end of their benefit year back in March, April, May, June, July, and they did qualify for a new claim, some of them have already been put onto the new claim, or they received a DNCP notice. So if your program type says UI, then your benefits will continue past September 4th until your claim balance hits zero. Of course, after September 4th, no $300 boost. If you received a DNCP notice, then your new claim would start after September 4th at the lower weekly benefit amount, and again, without the $300 boost. Joel says lots of Uber drivers will not qualify for the MEUC program because they took a lot of deductions with taxes. So most are under the 5K requirement. Yeah, I mean, let's I'm going to be honest. When I drove for Uber, I took as many deductions as I possibly could because I didn't want to pay taxes on that money. I didn't really save the money to pay taxes. I mean, I did everything legally, but I was like, I'm going to count every mile I can. I think that, like, guys, Uber drivers do not do this anymore, but we used to be like encouraged to carry gum and breath mints and water and all sorts of like extras in the car. I wrote that off. I took all the deductions I could, and yeah, I showed a very small profit that I actually had to pay taxes on. SL says don't feel shame about welfare. If you work, they take half your paycheck anyway, so it's really who's winning up $25 an hour in this world. It's all screwed up. Yep. Mike D says, I'm supporting a stray cat who's pregnant and I feel good about it. Oh, that's so nice. Okay. The SS of Fruits and Nuts says, truly a great soul. Oh, thank you, thank you. Brilliant Hooligan says, Biden has a big announcement today. Michael says, is the virus the new reason why they should still extend PUA? This happened recently. I got the virus. My best friend got it for 2 weeks straight. I had to give her bedside care. A week of those 2 weeks for other people I know. And that's the thing. They are talking about the infrastructure package. In that White House letter, Biden says he wants to permanently address some of the problems with unemployment offices like the EDD. So there may be some changes happening. Now we're a couple weeks away from benefits ending. It's 2 weeks from these programs ending. So at this point, even if they decided to do something, there would definitely be gaps in payments. And I think cases would have to get a lot worse for them to consider doing something on the federal level. That's kind of also, in my opinion, why Biden said, oh, yeah, if states have leftover from the money they already got, then they can use it to extend benefits. He is passing the buck onto someone else so that he can say, oh, well, look, I said that they could use the money. That way, then when it doesn't come up in the infrastructure package, he can say, oh, well, that's why I told them they could use extra money. That is my opinion. That is my opinion. It's not facts, just my opinion. And I don't really know a lot about politics, but I know that everybody tries to blame everybody else. And to me, that's what this seems like. SL says they know that they need help. Oh, Kenneth says it may relate to Afghanistan and not unemployment. Brilliant Hooligans has an inside source at the EDD. Do you now? Please share it on Instagram with me. My inside sources at the EDD said they did extensive background checks via a branch of the U.S. military. The pandemic lie cancels all issued benefits. The normal unemployment participants continue. I don't think that's inside information. Yes, if your program type says UI, then your benefits continue. Guys, I think, let me know if this is a dumb video idea or not. So a couple people in the comments are like, Shelly, you and Jenny are just repeating the same thing now. And we are, and I know a lot of you guys, like I just see Scotty in the comments and Michael and SL. A lot of you guys have been with the channel for a long time. So this is nothing new to you. But keep in mind, as these programs start to end and people see little news blurbs about them ending, they're searching for that information. So there's lots of new people finding their way to the channel right now that may not know this information. If you go on any Facebook unemployment message board, this is what you see. You see, well, I thought it was just the 300 that's ending. Oh, everything ends? Oh, but my regular weekly benefit amount is still going to continue. You're going to see comment on comment on comment like that. And I think this is why people are still confused. So I might make a video about it. I feel like you guys will know. So let me know if this idea sucks or not. I think the reason why people are confused is because they keep saying federal benefits are ending, which implies that state benefits are continuing. And people associate the state benefit with their weekly benefit amount. Most people do know that the $300 boost is a federal boost. What I think the information that the people that maybe not you guys, because you guys watch the channel, but I think what people that are just starting to search this information don't realize is that if the weekly benefit amount is paid under PUA, if it's paid under PEUC Extension Tier 2 or Extension Tier 2 augmentation, that is also a federal payment. That payment is no longer being made by the state. It's being made by a federal extension. So let me know if you guys think that would be good for me to make just like one of those quick 1 or 2 minute videos to explain that, because I think that's why people are still confused. They're not realizing that right now their weekly benefit amount is also being paid out under a federal program and not a state program. So I want to try and figure out how to like get the new people the information without boring the heck out of everyone that's familiar with the situation. It's a slippery slope. Okay. Oh, also, you guys asked me what I'll talk about on Sundays. And Mondays. I'm still going to go live every Monday, every Sunday at 11 a.m. and every Monday at 9 p.m. Would you guys be bored if we just talked and like, I'll do something on camera? Like I was thinking maybe build like a Lego set, which I've never built before. Would that be dull? I don't know. Anyway, I like to talk and I'm happy to come on and talk about whatever. But so the rest of you aren't bored, I was thinking about doing something on camera. I don't know. Okay. Michael says, so you're saying that they are telling us we have to prove to them something that doesn't exist? Yes, because you were supposed to have a legitimate job offer that got rescinded. So they are going to ask for proof that you had a job offer. And so in the other states, something that has been acceptable is something on a corporate letterhead, or if you have like an email that said, hey, I'm so sorry, we were going to start you at the movie theater on March 14th, but we're closing tomorrow. And so we have to end that job offer. You know, if you got it verbally, call the company and ask if they can send you something on letterhead, or you need to try and track down the person that gave you the job offer and have them sign an affidavit. In other states, those have been what has been acceptable. We actually don't know in California yet the complete list of acceptable documents for PUA employment verification. I lost my place, so I'm going to take a few comments as I work my way back up. Nikki says, good morning. What happens if you don't respond to an email saying you've been invited to have an online interview? Is this for a job? Probably nothing, but Nikki, please go to the online interview, because I'm really worried that things are going to end on September 4th, and I really want you guys all to have jobs. So many of you have reported that you found work, and I'm so happy for you, but I am worried for those of us that have not found work yet. Okay, lost my place. Is EDD giving us all an extra $10,000 because they suck? JK, big hugs. Thanks for everything. Positive mental attitude. Yes, positive mental attitude. No, they're not giving anyone $10,000. That's why I wore my little love sweater today, because I thought we could use some extra love. Baby Yoda's right here. He's sleeping. Maybe we need like a cute baby Yoda in the picture. I don't know. Oh, no, he wants to sleep. We just need like something to bring us a little bit of joy. SL says, I will call spade a spade. We're still in a pandemic. They know a storm is brewing on this. Crime is going to be out of control along with overwhelming hospital beds. I hope that's not true. Risa says that she's having trouble logging into the EDD. It's Sunday, so that's pretty common. Couple things to try are, instead of selecting UI online, select UI mobile. If that doesn't work, try finding an old email from the EDD and use the link that's provided in the email. If you're logging on from a cell phone, try clearing like your browser history and then try logging on again. Try logging on from a different device, either a laptop or a regular computer, or maybe even your friend's cell phone. And if that doesn't work, just give it a little while and then try again a little bit later. Okay. Kenneth says there will be variants just behind. Yep. What is happening in Connecticut? I'm not sure. SL says, I pray God will touch us so that the President of the United States to extend everything and really take deep thoughts on his actions on the citizens of America. Kenneth says the PEUC, PUA, PUC, and the $300 boost expire in all 50 states by September 6th. And all 50 states, not just California. Yes, absolutely. That is true. Well, except for the 26 states that ended things early. And some of them have been reinstated, but a lot of those states actually had everything end early. Scotta says, program type UI. If your program type says UI, your claim balance will continue until it hits 0. But you have to check your program type. It's not just your weekly benefit amount. Your weekly benefit amount could be paid under PUA, PEUC, Extension Tier 2, Extension Tier 2 augmentation. And those programs, the weekly benefit amount will also end September 4th. Rescinded says, 26 weeks have been exhausted for my regular claim. Can I apply for a new claim after my claim end date? Will I qualify for a new claim? So you can file a new claim after your benefit year. So some people right now, their benefit year isn't over until 2022. So those people cannot even try and file a new claim until after the 2022 end date. Will you qualify? That's going to depend on if you've done any work since initially filing your claim. If you haven't done any work since you initially filed your claim, even if you have enough wages in your base period, if you haven't done any work since first filing, they're not supposed to approve you for a new claim. After September 4th deadline, what happens to my claim? Does it close? Like, does claim amount go to 0? If so, how will I be able to backdate past that date? So you would be backdating for dates before September 4th. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen to the claim balance. Like, I don't know what it will show on our end. I do know after September 4th, even if you have a claim balance on your account, you will not have access to that balance. It essentially gets reverted back to the government. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happens to that balance. James says, thanks again for the back door to getting my money. The week's worth back paid. Calling a representative. Yes, call your reps, guys. Risa says, how long does it take after you apply for utility assistance? I'm in California. I'm not sure how long it takes. James, I do not work for the EDD. I started my channel because everyone at my company got furloughed, including our corporate office. I manage a movie theater, so I work with a lot of like kids that are fresh out of high school and things like that. I knew that they were going to have questions. I was a salaried manager. I'm hourly now that I'm back now. And a company doesn't want you to work for them when you're not officially like on the clock, they can get in big trouble if they ask you to do any work. But I knew my employees were going to have questions. And so I was like, how do I get this information to everyone without doing it on behalf of the company in a place where it's easy for everyone to get? So I started researching questions that I had and that I thought my employees would have. And this is still for them. We haven't, and for you guys, but we haven't brought everyone back just yet. We're hoping to, and we're so close. But yeah, then I found out that it was not just my employees that needed this information, but lots of people. So I kept going, but I do not work for the EDD. Kenneth says housing is key, also does utility assistance. That is good news. I know that like if you also go to LADWP or SoCal Gas, or wherever your utilities are with, they have information about programs on their homepage of their websites as well. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, so if you guys could like the video, I would appreciate it. Psychology Hero says, if you live in a trailer in the backyard, you can get EBT for the same household. Mixed Martial Arts says, anyone here been scheduled for a phone interview, but they never got called? That happens a lot. Usually what the EDD has said is that if they don't call you on the date of your phone interview, that it normally means that they determined that you would be eligible without having to conduct the interview. Let's see here. Mona says, do I certify on September 4th? Because that's my other certification date. Please help me out. So it would usually be September 5th, Sunday, if you're here in California, for the week ending September 4th. And yeah, you'll still be able to certify on the 5th and get paid for the week ending the 4th, even though you're not certifying until the 5th. Some of us won't even certify until the 12th, or that at least that's what I'm expecting. Some of us will not certify for the 12th, but you'll still get paid for the week ending the 4th. John says, I'm regular UI and my balance will end the week of the 27th. Do you think I will get an update? You will be switched to the PEUC program for 1 week, the week of the 27th through the 4th. And then if you qualified for Fed Ed, then you would be rolled over to Fed Ed for 1 week, the week ending September 11th. Sharon says, how do I feel that they report lower unemployment when people who can't certify for whatever reason are not considered part of the statistics? So in terms of the statistics, it's not necessarily people that can't certify. They're not counting PUA unemployment claims. They're only counting traditional unemployment claims, people with W-2 jobs. So that is the IUR versus the TUR, the true unemployment rate versus the insured unemployment rate. So yeah, and I think they should be counting everybody. I think that that's not a good way to count it, but that is how they're doing it. Okay. Kenneth says, Senator Roland Wyan of Oregon wants to federalize aspects of unemployment because so many states have had a ton of problems with implementation of unemployment at the state level. You know, that gets tricky, right? A lot of people, like what works here in California may not work in Kansas. A lot of industries were affected differently. I think California was disproportionately affected because we have a lot of amusement parks. We have a lot of people in the entertainment industry, and all of those industries really had to shut down. Whereas other states, they actually didn't experience quite as much unemployment as California did. Hawaii is another area where they have like a lot of, it's the travel industry, and travel completely shut down. So what works for someone in Kansas might not work for someone in Hawaii. It's tricky, government. I do not envy them because, in Kansas, those people might say, well, why do we have to pay? Why do we have to do things this way? We don't have a travel industry. We don't have this. We don't have that. Although it's been frustrating trying to like report things, having them not be the same across the board. Like I feel that frustration. And it seems to me like it would be easier if like maybe at least we all used the same computer program, the same computer language. because we don't even all use the same computers and computer programming. So maybe if we could all at least do that federally, so then if program changes happen that were on the federal level, it would be easier and implemented consistently. But in terms of weekly benefit amounts, that is also different based on cost of living and things like that. Like, California's unemployment weekly benefit amount, the minimum is actually not that high, but it is higher than in a state like Kansas, because cost of living is higher here in California. So it gets tricky. John, thank you for the donation and a cute little sticker. It's a laughing lemon. When life gives us lemons, we got to try and make lemonade. Oh, thank you, Sugar Sprinkles. I lost my place, but we're at 50 minutes. So I'm going to start skipping around in the comments. Celebrity Plus Entertainment says, hopefully they will extend it to the end of the year. How many weeks will the next extension be? Right now, we don't have any extension. We do not even know if they are going to extend it. So Micho, you need to find your original benefit award letter. And then you take let's do this really quick. I'm going to make a whole video on this. I've got training program written down here at the bottom. So these are just examples, of course. We're going to use a different example. Let's say that your weekly benefit amount is $450. You have to multiply that times 40. So whatever your weekly benefit amount is times 40. What is this? Okay. 450 times 40 equals $1,800. Remember that. Okay, so then you got to go back to your benefit award letter and you have to see, did I make more than, that's not the more than symbol, but you guys get it, $18,000 in the whole year? If the answer is yes, then you get Fed Ed. And that's also if you haven't already received Fed Ed on your claim. The other way to calculate this is you go to your benefit award letter. Let's say you made $18,000 in one quarter, right? It's going to list 4 quarters on there. So you find your highest one. You probably let's say 18,000. Let's say in your highest earnings quarter, you made $18,000. You multiply that, and it's either or. It does not have to be both of these requirements, times 1.5. That would equal. So then you would need to have made more than $27,000 total to qualify for Fed Ed. So either of those two requirements, so either more than in your total benefit calculations, either more than 40 times your weekly benefit amount, or whatever your weekly benefit amount is, the 450 was just an example, or more than 1.5 times your highest earnings quarter. So let's go back to my example for somebody who's in college. You guys like when Jenny plays with her hair. My hair is a mess, guys. So I'm going to play with my hair. I'm doing it in a way more distracting manner than she does. Okay, it's still not any better. Okay, so we've got our college student, right? And our college student, this time they graduated in September. I know that's when school starts. So whatever. They graduated in June, and they took a summer vacation, and they did not start working until September. October, November, December. So they only had earnings history in October, November, and December, let's say of 2019, right before the pandemic hit. And then let's say they were laid off right on January 1st, just for the ease of doing this. They would only have 1 quarter of earnings in their earnings history. So they would not qualify for Fed Ed because they didn't even start working until October. So they qualified for unemployment because maybe they got a tech job and they made $50,000 in that 1 quarter. And they would not qualify for Fed Ed because they only have 1 quarter of earnings, and the other quarters say 0 because they were in school and vacationing before that. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay. And you need to have never received Fed Ed on your claim before. And honestly, I don't really know a better way to figure that out than looking through all of your payment history for the program type. The most common times to have gotten it were kind of back in September of 2020 and then kind of March of this year. So those are the months that I would check, but probably check all of them. Universe says I should do something on camera, do a live Q&A to see what people can come together to solve workforce problems and instead have work calls with workers that we don't feel so enslaved. You know, I'm not, yeah, guys. And Ben is not in the chat, at least not right now, not that I've seen. He has a very bad screen name that I can't say. He let me know that he went back to work, but it's going to be a lot of like, even if it's not physical labor, guys, after being at home for a year and a half, it is hard on the body going back to work. Andy, thank you. John says, if I did, and this is from 1150, John says, if I did one job as an independent contractor and got paid, should I click yes when certifying for that 1 week? Yes. Contract work, you report those earnings on the week that you got paid. Okay. Michael says I'd be driving a nice car. Uh-oh. I think that's dirty. Okay. Angelina says, does anyone know if I can just walk into the American Job Center to get help from them and use the computer? I tried calling all day Friday to ask questions and no one would answer. I actually did a video on that. It's called like, is the EDD open? And they're not. You would make an appointment with your local American Job Center location, because the EDD offices and the American Job Centers are located in the same building usually. You can use their computers to update your resume, to apply for jobs, to get help writing your resume, to get help looking for jobs, to get help applying for EDD. But you do need to make an appointment with them in advance in order to go and use those computers. And if you're having trouble with that, it won't quite be the same level of help. They wouldn't be able to necessarily help you write your resume, but libraries have public computers that you can use. They have printers that you can use. I love the public library. So try your library if you just need to use the computer to look for jobs. Good morning, KJ. And Kenneth is saying, is there any news? There is news about that, but the news is they don't seem to be planning on opening up those offices in the public anytime soon, probably because they know that there would be like lots of protest outside those offices. Angelina says, oh, I just read that one. So yeah, not right now. You do need to make the appointment. Try like, so I literally typed into Yelp, EDD, California, I think. And it comes up with all the offices. Like I know near me, they're all a little bit of a drive, but I've got like 5 offices, I want to say, that are all within maybe about 30 minutes of me. I kind of live in a central area of Los Angeles, but maybe if one office isn't picking up calls to make an appointment, maybe another office that isn't too far away would be. Also with them, make sure to call between 9 to 5. Maisha says, I'm wondering, will your EDD card still work after September 4th? I lost my card and haven't received a new one. Yes, it will. If you guys have funds on your EDD debit card, first of all, try and transfer them. Also, Maisha, would that be an option for you? Could you transfer your funds to a regular bank account even without the physical card? I think all you would need to do that is your regular bank account number and the routing number to set up the automatic transfer, which guys, I do recommend setting up automatic transfers to your regular bank account. But yes, if you have funds left on the card, transfer them off. I'm serious. I don't ever like really look at you guys like, come on, what are you doing? But please, please, please transfer those funds immediately. But yes, you will have access to those until you spend them all or transfer them all. Yes, Ms. Pretty Lady, that is the safest way. Okay. Yes, Angelina, you need help updating your resume. Girl, me too, quite honestly. I had an opportunity and I feel like I missed it because I didn't have my resume ready because I've worked at the same job for 25 years. But like I mentioned, it's getting a little rough on your girl Shelly's Millions, standing on my feet all day. My back is killing me. And it's rough. I wanted to go work for DocuSign, and like my garage roommate sister works for DocuSign, and the job description sounded perfect because it was going to focus on social media, which I feel like I've really gained a handle on this last year doing YouTube. But my resume wasn't updated, and between doing YouTube and my regular job, I didn't turn in my application. So always have your resume updated and ready to go. Don't be like me in that sense. And yeah, get help on get help writing the resume. There's also some Facebook groups where you can like post your resume and get feedback on it. So try like a Facebook free resume review group. I think that might actually be what it's called, free resume review. Type that in and see if that comes up with something. Okay. Armando says, I'm just tuning in. Why do they tell me I'm done if my year hasn't been a year? So most benefits only pay up to 26 weeks, and then that's when it ends, traditionally when we're not in a pandemic. Now, you shouldn't be done just yet. Everybody should have at least enough money or programs to go into that will take you through the week ending September 4th. Then after that, some of us will qualify for Fed Ed if you meet those earnings requirements that I just showed you guys, or if you have not already received Fed Ed on your claim. But really after September 4th, it's ending for most people. Okay. By Andy, sorry, I didn't see that. Jay at 11:54 says, question about certifying. I put 0 to 4 hours. It said 10. Then I went back to edit to 0 to 4, and again it said not over 10. Then I accidentally pressed certified, so I don't know what happened to me. I don't know what happened to you either. Hopefully it doesn't cause you any problems. On something like that, did it calculate like a higher earnings than you actually received? If so, then I would call them. If it didn't calculate higher earnings, I would just wait for it to sort itself out, and hopefully it will sort itself out. Rich says, no extension for unemployment, at least not yet. Are they on another vacation? They are, but I think they're coming back earlier. Who is on fraud? We're talking to Manuel. I'm scrolling up. Oops. Oh, Rich says, Shelly, I don't know if this was covered, but since the 4th is on Saturday, those 2 weeks prior will still get paid for PUA. Yes. So this is what's confusing people. Especially people on PUA got letters that said something to the effect of you will not be paid after September 4th. So, but you guys are like, but I don't even certify till the 5th. You will still get paid when you certify on the 5th because it's for the week ending September 4th. You will not be paid for any weeks or days after September 4th, but when you certify on the 5th, or let's say you go to a big party on Sunday, you forget to certify until Monday the 6th, which is a holiday, which might mean there will be delays on that last payment. Whenever you certify for the week ending September 4th, you will still be paid as long as you're otherwise eligible to receive benefits. You will still be paid even if you're not certifying until the 5th. It's not like they're going to be like, oh, it's the 5th. You can't certify for the week ending the 4th. They're not going to do that. And I covered that a couple times today, but also made a dedicated video for that yesterday. I'm kind of in a purpley, pinky kind of shirt on black background and like purple writing. Oh, wait, what? Andy, you want to tell me that in October you finally get your son back? Oh, well, you're believing that you will. Yes, please think positive. Okay, let's see here. Okay, JP says, SAG union actor stuck in Arizona due to COVID. Can I collect in California as I've never worked in Arizona? Came here to visit family and got sick twice. Apply and see what happens. You should be, as long as the work that you did was in California. Unemployment's tied into the last state you worked in, not the state that you currently live in, although the EDD does tend to struggle with that. Cookie says, thank God I have a job lined up. That's awesome. I'm glad for you. I'm so happy for those of you that are telling me that you found work. Celebrity Plus Entertainment says, work from home. There's so many customer service jobs and they supply the phone and computer, and you can always work part-time at your old job. Yep. Cookie says, I've got 1 week paid and 1 week pending. So sometimes that is because 1 week is within your benefit year and the second week is outside of your benefit year. So 1 week paid, 1 week pending, that's normally what that means. It could also mean that your balance hit 0 after you certified for the 1 week, and then they're actually going to be switching you to a different program for the second week. Thank you, Gloria. Okay. Melissa says, for the MEUC, they need proof of $5,000. I do have notes that shows my services, but it's not through professional. It's in my own notes. My question is, would that be considered good enough proof? Probably not, because they need proof of net self-employment income. Really what they're going to want to see is, if you don't have a schedule, really what they want is the Schedule C from your taxes. If you're not able to provide that, they would want invoices, bank statements, that kind of thing, showing the money in versus the money out. They want the Schedule C because they want to know that you reported the self-employment income. So that would be net after expenses. There is the dedicated MEUC hotline that you could call. Even Bad Grandpa, he made $39,000, but I think he had 2 different forms of self-employment, but when they all combined together, they showed a loss on the Schedule C, and so that's going to mean he does not qualify. But call the MEUC hotline, see what they tell you. It never hurts to try and apply. Yeah. Uh-oh. Sandra says, I'm on unemployment, but just found a job. I'm excited about that. Is awesome. Veronica says, SNAP benefits are based on if you prepare meals with others in the household, regardless of family. Yeah, that's true as well. So it gets tricky with SNAP. Apply and see what happens, but be honest with them when you apply. Okay. Cookie says, I still have $7K left on my balance. Unfortunately, after September 4th, unless your claim type says UI, you will not have access to your balance after September 4th. Angelina says, I'm on regular UI and I'm not getting the $300 boost, just my regular funds. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense to me. You should be getting the extra $300 boost. So I would recommend calling the EDD to find out what's going on. Lanto says, well, I get paid even though I applied this week. Yes, but it's going to take a little bit of time. It takes at least 3 weeks for a new UI claim to go through the approval process. So you should still get paid. It's just going to take a little while before that happens. But go ahead and certify if you're allowed to certify, because even after September, well, if it's a brand new claim, you would be approved for usually 26 weeks of benefits. So yeah, so your new claim should start. Thank you, KYT 2022 for the donation. Do you have a question? Did I skip your question? JP says they were paying me from California, but I got disqualified in 12 of 20. So I would reach out to your assembly member and see if they can help you. Your old assembly member from California. So type in your old zip code and email whoever that was. Myra says if we certify September 12th, will we still get the $300 boost? So if you're somebody who certifies on September 12th, you would be certifying one for the week ending September 4th. That week would include the $300 boost. The second week that you certify for, it's going to depend. You might not qualify for any benefits, not even the $300 boost. I tend to think that the second week is going to say NA, even if you qualify for Fed Ed. And I have a feeling that even if you qualify for Fed Ed, you might end up needing to call the EDD and having them push those payments through. So, oh, maybe it's Kite 22. Anyway, thank you for the donation and let me know if you have a question. Elizabeth says, how do I find out what I'm on? So you're going to go onto your UI Online homepage. You want to click History. From History, you're going to scroll to the right and choose Transactions. You want to click on your most recent transaction. Then it's going to tell you Program Type. So basically anything except for UI is going to end September 4th. Alex says, you wrote Shelly's millions in my mail-in ballot. Guys, don't do that. Let's talk about that for like a quick second. Obviously, if you're voting yes on the recall, you're going to fill in the name of who you want. But even if you don't support the recall and you choose no, my personal recommendation, my personal opinion is that you do choose an alternate that you actually want to see be the governor in case the rest of California votes yes, then it just goes to whoever has the most votes in the other section. So my advice is to not leave that section blank, but also don't write in Shelly's millions. Nene? Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I've said it 3 ways. I probably messed it up 3 ways. I'm so sorry. How long does it take generally for your assembly member to respond after reaching out to them on the EDD? I just had someone in the comments say that they responded the same day and were paid the same day. Now, it normally does not happen quite that fast. So normally when you reach out, not normally, but often, when you reach out to the assembly members for help with your unemployment claim, they respond within 2 days, 48 hours, 2 business days, 48 hours. And then often, as long as it's a problem that they can fix, it's pretty common that 4 days after they initially get in touch with you, that you're paid. So that's like less than a week total from the time you email them to the time you're paid. So it's come on, we can spend almost a week trying to get through to the EDD and not actually getting through to them. Claimer will get you through, but it doesn't guarantee that you'll get a good rep. Doesn't guarantee that you won't be on hold only to be disconnected and then have to go through it all again the same day. But yeah, so oftentimes an assembly member is really the best way to get your claim fixed. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. If you guys could like the video, I'd appreciate it. There's a lot of you in here, but the questions have slowed. I don't mind that though. You guys sometimes know when I do this, it means I want to say something and I don't want to forget. Elizabeth says, if it says UI, does that mean I will still get paid? Yes. If your program type says UI under claim balance on your homepage, when you first log in, you will be allowed to certify until that claim balance hits 0 if your program type says UI. If it says anything else, it's pretty much ending September 4th. Maybe Fed Ed, if you haven't had all 13 weeks yet, would go 1 more week. And maybe if you got a DNCP notice, a delayed new claim payment notice, then your claim would also continue past that week. Celebrity Plus Entertainment said, do I think there will be a 4th stimulus check? I don't know. Not this time. Depending on how things go, it's going to depend on 2 things. This is what I think. It's my opinion. I think 1, it's going to depend on the cases. If the cases go up all crazy, possibly, but also in September, keep in mind, we have had an incredible number of people enter the stock market during these times. They've had extra money. There's Dogecoin hype. There's Bitcoin hype. Tesla skyrocketed, a lot of movement in the stock market. A lot of people have been home learning about the stock market, which is a great thing. I think investing is a great thing. And P.S., if you are interested in investing, Webull will give you 2 free stocks when you use my link in the description down below, valued up to like $1,400. And I want to say you only have to deposit $5 right now to get your Webull account started. If you do Webull and you get your 2 free stocks, I recommend buying and holding, because if you withdraw, there could be like tax penalties. So just be aware of that. But I do think that everyone should invest. If the stock market drops because all of a sudden some of these people that have had extra money to put into the stock market to learn about investing, if all of a sudden they need that money to pay their bills and the stock market tanks, then I think they would talk about additional stimulus money. All right, Kite22, thank you again for the donation. You didn't have to do that again. I would have been on the lookout for your question, but I do appreciate it. You certified for 4 weeks. You have not received payment. How should we be answering the new job search question? Why is this happening? Okay, 4 weeks could still be part of the quarterly review. Quarterly review is easy for a rep to remove if you get through to them. In terms of the job search question, you just need to answer yes to the question, did you look for work? Unless you're Fed Ed, then you actually need to list 3 job searches per week. If you're Fed Ed and if your program type is already Fed Ed, keep that in mind too. If we get that 1 week of Fed Ed, that you're probably going to need to do 3 job searches and you are going to need to list them online. Need to remember to say that when I make that video. Okay, so if you're anybody else, if your claim type does not say Fed Ed right now, then your job searches are just 1 a week, and it can be a work search activity, not necessarily a job search. Like we were saying, we need to update our resumes. Updating your resume fulfills and counts as a work search activity. It is then going to ask you, do you want to list your work search activities online, or would you prefer to keep track in another method? It is not messing up people's claims. It's not causing people to get stuck pending if they say, no, I want to keep track in another method, like in a notebook. Where's my notebook? I don't have a notebook. But anyway, you could keep it on the Notes app on your phone. You can keep an Excel document. You could take screenshots of places that you have applied. So any of those things should be fine. It is okay to say, no, I want to keep track in my own way. You do need to answer yes, that you're looking for work, but that's kind of always been the situation. So I tend to think that you're pending for probably quarterly review would be my guess. Now, even though I said it would be easy to call, easy for them to fix when you call, it's not easy to actually do the call. So I do have the claimer link in the description down below for $14.99. They will dial the EDD for you. If you get disconnected, they will call back for you. But you're still going to have to hold for an incredibly long time. I'm still hearing upwards of 4 hours hold time, and it does not guarantee that you'll get a good rep that will fix your claim. So the alternate thing that I recommend is emailing your assembly member. That is also linked in the description down below. So, sorry, my coworker is texting me. That's also linked in the description down below. And like I was just saying, an assembly member often replies within 48 hours, so 2 days. And then something like a quarterly review, they should be able to get that fixed and get you paid in 4 additional days. So yeah, and thank you again for the donation. Rich says, library had a lot of resources, free computer use, free printer, you can fax stuff, also good to work out of at least the main library in San Mateo. Guys, I have like a little, this is a cute story. I'm going to divert for a second. This is how I found my house that I own. I used to live half a block from this house, and I would walk to the library and I would pass this house. And you know how they say, like, you know, your first home, you buy the smallest, crappiest house on the block and just hope for the best. Well, I was passing this house this was like in the housing boom, and there was a for sale sign. And so I looked it up. I was like, oh, that's the smallest house. Maybe I could afford it. And no, this thing was too much money. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to buy a house if that little hole, S-hole, cost that much. And I kind of like didn't think about it for a while. And then the housing market crashed and this house came on the market again. And it was a short sale, and I bought the house, and I've been so happy here, even though it has like security bars on the window, and I live like this far from my neighbor, which is why you guys sometimes hear a dog bark in the background of the videos. Thank you, Micho. I think you're just saying that because I'm single and Jenny is married. Okay. Anyway, but I found my house walking to the library. And I love that I can walk to the library. And I live a little bit in the ghetto, but it's still a nice library. And libraries, you can rent DVDs for free. And if you want like a book, I like the book Think and Grow Rich. You can, and they don't have it at your library, you can have it transferred from another library. The library is super awesome and has so many resources. They probably even have workshops like on a Sunday to help you fill out a resume. Okay, Lanto, chill out on the comments. Try to only ask them 15 minutes apart. I'm going to do a couple more questions, and then I got to go for the day. Lanto says, new applicant for PUA, would they get paid all 13 weeks with the $300 boost? It depends on if the EDD approves the backdate request or not. They might not. But yes, any weeks prior to the week ending September 4th would include the $300 boost. Michael says, oh, darn it, Michael. Okay. Oh, Lewis, I will be talking about things like how I bought the house because it was a short sale. I'm a single female. My family does not come from money. I've never been married, so it's not like some divorce settlement. I love saving. I want to be like the female Graham Stephan. Yeah, and just like whatever you guys want to talk about. I've thought about like building Legos on live streams. I'll bring my mom on. We're going to definitely talk about how much money. My mom lives on a fixed income. She gets pretty much the minimum amount of Social Security. It's a little complicated because she gets some Social Security and some money from a VA pension. But we're going to break down her finances. We're going to break down my net worth. I'll start sharing my YouTube income, which I had intended to do all along and just like have needed to make so many EDD videos that I didn't get a chance to. Maybe like tips and tricks for YouTube. I love YouTube as a side hustle. I think it's a really good idea. Anything you're passionate about. I've decided, I don't think this will be interesting, but here's another fact about me. I love Taco Bell a lot. I'm thinking about maybe making a TikTok every day and for Taco Bell until they agree to sponsor me and see how that goes. So whatever I feel like talking about, whatever you guys want to talk about, we will talk about. Let's talk about how there are 252 of you in the stream. Please like the video. Also, I cannot believe that I waited till this long and to mention this. So please listen up to what I'm going to say next. A lot of you are asking if California will extend unemployment benefits. I am trying to get a hashtag trending on Twitter that one of my viewers suggested. He was the winner, Bob. Bob suggested that we tweet at Gavin Newsom using hashtag extend EDD. I'm going to type it in the chat. Oh my God, how did I not do this earlier, guys? Okay. Okay, so we're going to tweet at Gav. I'm going to spell Gavin Newsom right today. I didn't in my last stream. Using hashtag. So guys, go do that now. Tweet at Gavin Newsom using hashtag extend EDD. I don't know if we have funds left over to do that, but it doesn't hurt to bring attention to it. Yeah. I will. Yeah, we'll still be talking about some EDD topics, but we'll be mixing it up as well. Yeah, Kenneth says, tweet your state senators and state assembly members, also not just the governor. Yes, but it's easier for me to explain about Gavin Newsom. I don't know everybody's assembly member's name, But yes, research your assembly members. And then tweet at them, tweet at your mayor, tweet at anyone that will listen that we need to extend EDD. Because they're funny. Del Taco's better. Del Taco has really good French fries, but I love Taco Bell. I don't dislike Del Taco, but I love Taco Bell. Okay. Louis says, I'll continue to watch. Oh, thank you, thank you. Susan says, I live in a place in NorCal where the virus is blowing up. EDD finishing the 4th. Hypothetical question: if we shut, no quarters work to reapply. Wondering what will happen to all of us then. Ideas. It would really need to be approved on the federal level. And I think they are planning on talking about the infrastructure bill as soon as they all come back from break. But I think that they would need to hold like a special session in Congress in order to approve that. I don't know if California has funding to extend unemployment benefits. Daniel, I always forget what branch my mom served in. Anyway, I think cases would have to get really bad, and I don't think they have yet. I mean, like, I do think cases have gotten bad, but not bad enough for our government to realize, hey, it's not safe to send people back to work yet. It's ridiculous a little bit for those of you with kids, like you're sending the kids back, but then they have to quarantine for 10 days because they've been exposed. How are parents supposed to work like that? How? Tell us. I know remote work is an option. So go to websites the companies you like. I went to JCPenney. I scrolled to the bottom. There's a careers section. Under the careers section, they actually did have some remote jobs available. Lots of customer service help desk positions will train you and do have remote work available, but it's just crazy right now. Josh, how long does it take to receive your card? So first, you're going to certify for benefits. You'll be certifying even while the EDD approves your claim. And then Crystal, I'll do yours next. I didn't mean to miss you. So 3 weeks for a new claim to be approved. And then from there, after your payment switch to paid, it is going to take 10 business days to get your EDD debit card. If it takes any longer than that, call Bank of America, not EDD. Crystal says, after my UI balance goes to 0, will I still qualify to get my weekly benefit amount? Or once that hits 0, that's it, because my claim ends in 2022. So Crystal, once that balance hits 0, that will be the end until 2022 would be the earliest that you can file a new claim. I'm so sorry about that. Thank you for the donation. Michelle says, any clarification from EDD about acceptable PUA documents if job offer was rescinded, job rescinded verbally? There's not so far. I know in other states they have accepted a signed affidavit, or like a rescinded job offer on company letterhead. So you might need to go back to that prospective employer and say, hey, remember you offered me a job and you called me to let me know you couldn't start me because of the pandemic. I need a letter to send to the EDD. Is it possible that you could get me one of those? If you have any emails showing that you applied, showing that you didn't start, possibly that would be acceptable. We have not seen the list of acceptable documents yet, though. Dan, we pay $15.25 starting at the theater, so a quarter above Los Angeles minimum wage. Used to be a full $1 above minimum wage, but times are a little rough right now. We're not currently hiring. We still have employees that we have not brought back to work yet. That's starting to scoop popcorn. You are on your feet all day, cleaning bathrooms too, stuff like that. Now we sanitize. So yeah, it's a good job. Oh, Betty loves Legos, so that's awesome. So yeah, maybe it would probably be, I don't know. I think I'd be funny because I don't feel like I've never built Legos because growing up, we were poor and the only Legos that I could afford were the ones that came in the Happy Meal. I feel like it would be funny to watch me build Legos because I do not feel like I'd be good at it. So I feel like it might be funny. It's going to be a process, that's for sure. Okay. X-Vals, can you still apply for UI today or anything next week and still get paid even if you certify after September 4th? Yeah. I mean, if you qualify for benefits, go ahead and do that apply as soon as possible. That way you'll be certifying for these weeks. And then even though it'll take a while for the claim to get approved, this would be when you applied. So you would still get paid for these weeks once that claim got approved. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, Shelly is a little bit from I like legit lived in the projects in Pasadena. Yeah, it's to walk to the liquor store and get now laters. Okay. Crystal says after my UI. Oh, Crystal, we got yours. Oh, but let's see. Yeah, so after if you're on UI, you are allowed to collect your balance to keep certifying and get paid until your claim balance hits 0. But after it hits 0, unfortunately, there aren't any extensions, and you would not even be able to apply for a new claim until after the week ending or after whenever your benefit year ends in 2022. Robin, same thing. Once your balance hits 0, you can't. Oh, Crystal, I'm so sorry. I missed your donation. I didn't see it for a second. Hopefully you just heard that answer. And I do appreciate the donation. I just spaced and I didn't see it. Hopefully you got the answer, and I do appreciate the donation. And now I've answered it twice. So if you missed it the first time, hopefully you caught it the second time. Robin has the same question. Can I reapply once I have a $0 balance? Only if your benefit year is over. So that's what Crystal's running into. Her benefit year is not going to be over until 2022. So she won't even be able to file a new claim until until 2022. And let's say your benefit year is over. Let's say that it still says on extension. A lot of us already had our benefit year end, and we've already filed new claims. And because we haven't done any work since we first filed, we still don't qualify for a new claim. So to qualify for a new claim, you do need earnings in the base period that you're using, and they go back 18 months, but you also need to have done some work since you first filed for benefits. And that's why most of us were not approved for a new claim this last time. Betty Boop says, for how long can I keep a balance on the EDD bank card? Betty, please, please, please transfer that. Like not even 5 minutes. Please, 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 please set that up to be transferred to your regular bank account. And what else did I want to say about that? However, if you don't, and I really recommend you do, but if you don't, you can keep the money on your EDD debit card until it's gone, until it's spent. Once the money is loaded onto your EDD debit card, that is yours to spend. Michael, I have not heard about the change shortage recently. Okay, I'm really going to do like a couple more questions and then I'm going to go. Uh-oh. Oh, where's the hood in Pasadena? The projects were on Orange Grove. I think it was called Kings Manor. Which are the ones on Orange Grove? But it's not like the nice part of Orange Grove where like Orange Grove is a really interesting street. Was it Orange Grove? Anyway, by Orange Grove and kind of like Lake. But it's not up in Altadena where it's nice, and it's not on the part of Orange Grove like where the Rose Parade Mansion is. And I mean they put projects in the middle of nice neighborhoods too. Like the neighborhood wasn't totally bad, but yeah. And maybe it's cleaned up. I have not been there in several years. Actually, I think I drove past Kings Manor the other day, like visiting a friend in Altadena, and I think it did look much nicer. Okay, AMT said, I tried contacting the EDD today, no answer. I had an open claim from December and had to reopen because I lost another job. When I log in, it looks like I didn't even reopen. Yeah, I would recommend calling for that. Pasadena is not near Redondo Beach, not really. Pasadena is not really near the beach. It's closer to like the San Gabriel Mountains by like Arcadia and stuff. Javier, how do we check what claim we're on? So you're going to go to your UI Online homepage. You're going to click History. Then from History, click transactions, you'll need to scroll to the right, click your most recent one. From there, you're going to need to, after you click transactions, it will show you your program type. No problem, Diane. And there were some cool things around there too. And I liked the school I went to. Anyway, okay. Let's do one more from Dee Dee. Dee Dee at 12:35 is going to be the last. Oh, no, we'll do Dee Dee's and then we'll answer Jack's because a lot of you probably hopped in late. Okay, so Dee Dee at 12:35 says, I'm on PEUC Tier 2 and just got an email yesterday saying after UI on September 4th, the delayed new claim payment DNCP is an available option if I qualify. How will I know if I qualify? Getting that letter should mean that you qualify. Maybe they just mean as long as you're still unemployed. That's really weird that it says if you qualify. If you got that letter, that should mean that you qualify. But like maybe you know how like each week when you certify for benefits, like even I say like, oh, even if you don't certify for your benefits until, even if your certification date isn't until Sunday, September 12th, you'll still be paid. And then I make the little disclaimer, if you qualify, meaning like, as long as you searched for work and as long as you are still unemployed, maybe that's what that means. But yeah, if you got that notice, that should be good. Oh my God. Okay, so pivot, just rewind this video like maybe 10 minutes and I will explain to you that I just went through how to find out what type of claim you're on. So I wanted to do Jack's, who said that they came on late. And then this is going to be the last question, also from 12:35. Any word about the budget allowing for extension? So I know that was big news. I know that Biden put it on the states and said, hey, if you guys have money left over to spend from the stimulus package, then you can use it to extend PUA and PEUC, not the extra $300 a week boost. And what has happened is California hasn't said a peep. I have not been able to find out current numbers of what's left over, what's been spent, what hasn't. So we still need that information and we still don't have it. So in order for benefits to be extended, one, California would need to have excess funds left over and we don't know if we do or not. Two, they would need to decide that they were going to use those funds to extend those programs and we don't know if they will. And then there's a third thing, even if we had money left over and even if they decided to use it to extend these unemployment benefits, since we don't know an amount that's left over or not, and we don't know if they're going to use it or not, we also don't know, even if they did, how many weeks it might last. Like if they only had a little bit of money left over, it might not even last that long. Bargain, any advice for people over 55 who accepted Medi-Cal and now all assets belong to the state? I'm worried. No, I don't know about that, but I will try and look into it. Okay, you guys, I think that's going to be it for me today. We've been going for almost an hour and 40 minutes. So I do go live tomorrow night at 9. If I missed your question, feel free to ask me there. Thank you guys so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I will see you guys next time.